Are you winning at home? It is Wednesday. We always talk about winning at home on Wednesday. We believe that if you win at work and you lose at home, you still lose. Everybody wants to win at home. And we're gonna give you something today that I think is gonna help you do that in a little bit of a different way. As we have spring has sprung, so to speak. The clock sprang forward a few weeks ago. I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago. They said, "Hey, I can't deal with it this week. It's spring break. I didn't even know our kids are grown and gone." And my wife didn't give me a spring break, and I don't think I gave her one. We got a lot of things going on around here we're trying to get done. And so today's episode of Chasing Greatness is going to focus on how we can get more things done, maybe some important things done at home. So welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. I know some of you watch on YouTube. Appreciate your comments over there. Some of you are on the iTunes and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. That's awesome. We're downloads are growing like crazy. We're grateful for that. And one of the things that's causing that to happen is you're sharing with your friends and family. And so I hope you'll continue to do that. It really does help us out. Hopefully this is helpful to you. You could really help us by continuing to share and just say, "Hey, I got a podcast here I listened to." I got a great comment this last week from somebody who said, "Hey, every time I go for a walk, I listen to one of these things, 15, 20 minutes, and they're getting their exercise in, hopefully being inspired a little bit," they said. And so that's cool. So today we're gonna dive in here. You'll think of somebody that you can share with as we go. Maybe you can even put them on your list. You'll see what I mean in just a second. But today I want to talk about the power of making lists. Now I know you expect on Wednesdays you're going to talk about marriage or parenting or some kind of personal something at home. But I want to talk today a little bit about one of the things I think we can do to win at home is we can get some things done. I don't know about you, but this last week, it was kind of this spring cleaning moment for me. I looked around, I thought there's a bunch of stuff I've got undone that needs to be focused on. And one of the things I like to do when I start noticing clutter or whatever's going on in my life, we might even call this episode spring cleaning here. One of the things I like to do when I notice clutter is I like to make a list. If I'll just list out all the things that I need to knock out, it's so fun to almost just cross that stuff off the list when you knock them out. And so today I want to talk a little bit about lists. Now, some of you listen to this, you are list makers. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up there if you're a list maker. You love making lists. And some of you are not list makers. We encourage you to hit the thumbs up as well. When you give us a thumbs up, that helps. But if you are a list maker, this will be a little bit different because this is not your conventional type of list. But I want to give you a list today of the way you need to be thinking about making a list, and this will make sense in just a moment. But let's start with actually the things that would go on your list, and we'll call this our core four. Our core four. Okay, so you said, what are you talking about, core four? Let's choose 4 things a day that we say these are going to be our 4 most important things of the day, and write those 4 things down. I encourage you every morning to start with a list. At the end of the day, you might evaluate your list. Like, how did I do? Did I knock out all the things? If you, some of you are in the fast class here. If you finish by lunch, make yourself another list. There's nothing that limits you to only 4. But I want to encourage you to make a list of priorities every day. Just say, these are the 4 things that are going to be most important to me today. They might have something to do with a long-term project. You're trying to just knock out one little piece of it to get to a milestone, or they may be something that you're going to finish that day. But I think having the focus to say, this is what I'm going to work on today is really powerful. So that's pretty simple. Everybody knows about lists. Like, hey, what do I need to do? We write down the things, and I'm going to ask you to limit it to 4. Let's call it the core 4. I think that's important. I think when we get too many things on our list, it can be overwhelming. Let's knock that first list out. If we want to make another list again, that's okay. But I think it's really important for us to make sure that we got 4 things. We just say we're going to lock in on these 4 and go with that. Now, we're going to work our way down here. So I want to give you 3 things that ought to be on your list, and I'm going to call this our 3 who's. 3 who's. The core 4 is 4 to-dos. The 3 is going to be 3 who's. Now, here's my 3 who's that I want you to think about. And I really want you to write this down and go and do this. We're going to talk about the power of doing what we know to do on Friday's podcast. I'm going to actually break down a little piece of the Bible that we did that last Friday. If you didn't get a chance to listen, I hope you'll go back and check that one out. We talked about people who are having challenges and problems and how that actually can grow resilience and perseverance. Really cool episode. We got some good feedback on that. If that would be helpful to you, go check it out. But we're gonna talk about the power of living out stuff and doing what we're supposed to do on Friday with this little Bible passage. But today I want us to think about these three who's, and I'm going to challenge you to really write these names down and then go and do it. So here are the three who's. The first one is this: who do I need to thank? Who do I need to thank right now? I've got some people around my life. I'm looking at things that are happening and going well. And a thank you goes a long way to remind it. It reminds me that the things that I've got going on, the things that I'm accomplishing, actually they're not all about me, right? They're actually happening for me because somebody else is doing what they're doing. And it's almost, I think a little bit this week, I'm excited because tomorrow, the Masters tournament, the golf tournament starts. I love golf. And so the tournament starts here in Georgia tomorrow. I'm outside of Atlanta. And so we're really excited over in Augusta. They'll have the big tournament. And I think about the caddy, some player's going to win, on Sunday, but honestly, they're going to win. One of the reasons they're going to win, they're going to play well. They're going to hit great shots. They're going to make putts and, shoot a better score than everybody else. But one of the things that's going to position them to do that is they're going to have a caddy with them. Somebody help them carry the load, right? They're going to carry their clubs for them. They're going to make suggestions. They're going to hold them accountable when they're trying to make a decision. Do you think I ought to do this? No, I think you ought to do that. And they're going to give them some counsel. And I think for us, sometimes we need to understand that there are other people that are helping us accomplish what we're accomplishing. So who do you need to thank right now? I bet somebody's coming to mind. You wouldn't be where you are, even in the last couple of weeks, had it not been for somebody else's contribution. If you've not thought about that, chances are you haven't said thank you. And so I want to encourage you to do that, which leads me to my number two who, and this is still on my three who's, but the second one there is, who do I need to encourage? Who do I need to encourage? I am certain you have somebody in your life right now who is struggling, somebody who's hurting, somebody who is up against something that they can't control, maybe something that they had nothing to do. I mean, it might be a circumstance, an illness, something they're going through. I've got a buddy of mine right now he's going through a really challenging time, and he would be a person that I could take some time and encourage here. And so I would encourage you to look around and ask yourself, who needs encouragement right now? That encourage means that we're going to put courage into their life. They're up against something so hard. They need some courage. They really need to know somebody else believes in them. Somebody else sees greatness in them. You can help somebody else be great. If you're chasing greatness, that's what it's about. It's not just trying to reach your potential. It's helping others do the same. And so who do you need to encourage right now? That would go on our list, right? Our list has got our core four, but it's got three who's. Who do I need to thank? Who do I need to encourage? And then the third one is going to seem a little crazy here, but because we don't really think about it this way all the time. But who do you need to ask for help right now? Who do you need to ask for help? There might be something going on in your life that's challenging, and you need someone to help you. And so I want to just remind you that it's okay to put it on your list. I need so-and-so to help me right now. And so I'm going to ask them, would you help me? Sometimes most of the people who are listening to this, you spend a lot of time helping other people. I want to remind you that you need help from time to time. And so I want to encourage you to reach out to somebody. If you really want to win at home, when we say win at home, it is about marriage and parenting, all those things. But I'm thinking about not 9 to 5 where your job is, but what happens from 5 to 9. I think it's just as important. Where do you need help outside of work? It'd be easy to look at that one and go, oh, I need help on a project, or I need help at something at work. But is there somewhere outside of work that you need help? Maybe you need some perspective. Maybe you need some insight. Maybe you just need to spend some time with a friend. I don't know, but I would encourage you to identify who you need to thank, who do you need to encourage, and who do you need to ask for help right now. And then we'll move down to our two that goes on our list. There's two things that'll go on your list. And these are what I would call two things to think about. Two things to think about. Now, if you're riding down the road right now, but I want you to write this on your list, but you need to pull over and write it down before you do. And so here's two things to think about. Here, I think we don't think enough. It's kind of crazy that we have these lives and we don't spend very much time thinking about our lives. We just go through the motions, and it's a missed opportunity if we don't spend time to think. So let's put two things on our list here to think about. The first one is, what's your biggest problem right now? What's your biggest problem? Now, you may be thinking, why would I want to put that on my list? Your problem won't go away unless you think about it and do something about it. It's the reason we have our problems is because we have behaved a certain way, or we just have circumstances that are up against us, maybe that we can't control. And we've not really spent any time thinking about how we're going to deal with that emotionally, or if we've caused the problem, how are we going to solve the problem? And so let's ask ourselves, when we start thinking about our problem, I encourage you to take some time this week, put it on your list, your biggest problem, but you got to take some time and think about it. And here's the questions to ask yourself when you think about your problem or your biggest problem. What caused the problem? What are some possible solutions to the problem? And you begin to brainstorm, make a list of things that you might be able to do to behave your way out of what you've behaved your way into possibly. And all of a sudden you come up with a solution or two, and you say, I'm going to try that and see what happens. And if you will do something different, you're going to get a different result. But I say this all the time. I remind people all the time, your life right now is perfectly designed to give you the results that you're getting. So if you don't like what's going on, you have the power, you have the agency to make a change. And so I really challenge you to do that. And it'll start by thinking about, like, what am I up against? What am I really trying to solve here? So that's the first one. Let's think about our biggest problem. And then secondly, let's think about our biggest opportunity. I'm guessing you have a business idea, you have a book idea, you have a project idea, you have maybe a new friendship that you're thinking about, or a hobby you're trying to pick up. We have all these opportunities in front of us, and yet we don't spend much time thinking about our opportunities. And then we get down the road and we look back and we think, oh, I wish I would have done that, or I wish I would have thought about that. I think some focused think time on your opportunities in front of you would be very valuable to you. Now, here's the way I would focus that thinking. I think the word focus here, we're going to kind of land on that in a second, but I think this is the way I would focus that thinking. I would ask myself, what opportunity is in front of me that would be the highest and best use of my time to help me get to where I want to go? And so you get to decide where you want to go, but once you decide that, take some time and say, okay, what opportunities are in front of me that are going to help me really get to where I want to go? And if you'll do that, you'll be positioned to start making progress if you'll take some steps toward that. And then the last thing that'll go on our list today. So let me review real quick. Our core four. What are our four biggest priorities? Our three who's, we said. Who do we need to thank? Who do we need to encourage? And who do we need to ask for help? And then our two things that we want to think about: our biggest problem and our biggest opportunity. We might even be able to marry those together. Our problem might go away if we take the opportunity that's in front of us to make that happen. And then the last thing I would just say, what is the one, we'll call this our one to do. And remember at the beginning, we said we had a core four of to-dos. So as you look at your list every day, I want you to circle that one that you think is the most important, and let's do that first. Let's focus our life, our energy, our emotions, our time toward that one thing that we think is most important every day. And I'm telling you, if you will create this list, you'll begin to work on those four things. Like, just what's important today. You'll knock those out if you'll go to your first one first, and you'll make that your focus. And chances are, if you do that one thing, even if you don't get the other three done that day, you'll still feel pretty good about your day. But if you do, a bunch of busy work, you got a bunch of email going on, you got all kind of details coming in your life, and you're just random stuff, you're putting out fires, and you don't get your four things done, or especially if you don't get your one thing done, as well as I do, the emotional weight that goes with undone is really hard to deal with. And so I want to challenge you to really focus. What's that area of your life that you need to focus on most? Let's make that our priority, which is a singular word. Let's do that first. And I know if we do that, we're going to feel really great about that. And that's going to help us win from 5 to 9, which will position us to win from 9 to 5. It'll make us a better husband, a better wife, a better mom or dad, son or daughter, whatever those family relationships are. We talk about those things all the time on Wednesdays. But when we think about winning at life, spring cleaning here this week, this is an opportunity for us to make a list, that core four, those three who's, those two things to think about, and that one to do, it just becomes so powerful if we'll do that. So list is powerful. You may not be a list maker, but this is your chance to start a couple of practical ideas there. I hope you'll make that happen. I hope you'll share this with someone as well. As we said before, it really helps us spread the message of what we're trying to do here, help people live a better life, really win at work, win at home, and win at life as they continue to chase greatness. There's greatness in you. I hope you'll let it out this week. One of the ways you can do that is to make a list and live by the list. I'm telling you, it'll benefit you. It'll be really great. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you on Friday.